So when a booktube friend tags me to talk about my favourite horror author of all time, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm in. Let's do this. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing the King of Horror Stephen King tag. Now, when it comes to talking about my favourite author of all time, it's not really a hassle. And when I was tagged to do this by Greg over at Another Bibliophile Reads, I thought, yeah, I'm all in. Let's do this. I can talk about Stephen King books all day, so it wasn't really a chore. Now, this tag has about 18 questions to go through, which is pretty grueling. So I'm happy to be grilled about it and share these answers with you. So let's get right into it with question number 1. And that is, how did you get into reading Stephen King? I've shared this in a video on the channel. If you haven't caught that one, I've put it in the description below so you can find it very easily. But it was at the tender age of 15 back in 1989. I was in high school, year 10 in fact, and I was a bit of a loner, had a bookworm, and always carrying a book. I felt comfort and an escape with fiction, and I was always at the library. And one day I was browsing the stacks in my in the lunch break because I spent a bit of my time in the library during lunch breaks at that point. And I was browsing the stacks, and I thought, I saw these Stephen King books, and I thought I didn't really know much about him, and how would I when there was no internet or anything like that to speak of at the time. And I remember picking one up, reading the back cover and thinking, oh, this looks really interesting, and read it cover to cover very, very quickly, and have been a fan ever since. I caught the reading bug really bad, and Stephen King is responsible for me getting into reading in general from the beginning. Alright, now question number 2. What is the first Stephen King book you read? Now, in the library, as I mentioned just in the last answer, the book I actually picked up and read for the first time was Christine, which is a pretty weighty tome. I just love these new covers which were released a few years ago as part of Halloween. The cover art is absolutely sensational, but this was how I cut my teeth with Stephen King and being introduced to him. I mean, A Killer Car, what could be better? And just absolutely love that one. So it's got a very, very special place right here, because it is the first Stephen King book I ever read, and absolutely loved the hell out of it. And I've read it a couple of times since then as well, but it's always going to be a favourite. So there you go. Question number 3, just put that over there. Okay, question number 3 is, have you read a Stephen King book published the year you were born? Yes, I have, and that happens to be Carrie from 1974, Stephen King's first published novel. Again, another Halloween cover, which is absolutely sensational, and yeah, fantastic read. What more can I say? And I'm just pleased that this one matches up with the year I was born, so it's a pretty good pick there. Okay, question number 4. Which of his books do you prefer to collect? Hardcover editions, paperbacks, or it doesn't matter to me? It doesn't matter to me. I'll take his books any way I can get them, especially when I have different titles in various formats. For example, I own no less than 8 editions of The Shining, which is my favourite Stephen King book of all time. So, you know, if I'm out and about and I want a decent, you know, just a ratty reading copy of something, I'll pick it up. But I've pretty much got everything of his, and I own them all pretty much. So, yeah, but all my Stephen King books are in hardback, paperback, B format, C format, you name it. And of course I've got digital ones as well. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what they are. I've got a couple of really nice hardbacks which are very, very special as well, which are very rare to get now. But yeah, it doesn't matter about the format. Okay, question number 5. How many books of his are on your shelf? Now, I counted these up and I have 100. Okay, and that's including double ups and 8 ups, like in the case of The Shining. But there are quite a few titles I have multiple versions of. The Shining being the main one. I have about 3 or 4 versions of it. I have a couple of versions of The Stand. I think I have 3 versions of The Stand actually, which you know, I just like the cover art, and I like the retro 80s paperbacks. They're just very, very nice. Okay, now question number 6. Stephen King is known for long and gory novels. Which of his novels was tough for you to read? Now that's a pretty easy choice, because I have not read this one since I was 15, in fact, and that is Pet Sematary. I remember this scaring the absolute shit out of me as a kid. Just, you know, Zelda hidden in the back room, the disabled sister. It stuck with me for a long time and gave me nightmares, and I have not read it since. This is one of the very few books that I haven't read more than once, and I'm thinking maybe it's high time I crack this bad boy open again and grow a set and read it again. I mean, I'm a grown man now. I'm an adult, a responsible adult. How scary can it be? But people say when they reread this after being a parent that it gives a different impression as well. So I'm interested to see how that pans out, because I'm a parent myself, and it's going to be interesting to see how I interpret it if I read it a second time. And I think, you know, I'm going to be brave, and I'll probably pick this up again soon. So we'll see. Okay. Now, question number 7. Have you ever DNF'd a Stephen King book? Yes, I've only DNF'd one Stephen King book, and that is from a Buick 8, which when this came out I thought, oh cool, you know, this car that brings in alien entities from another dimension from the boot of a car. It was pretty out there, but I could not finish it. I think I got about a third of the way through, and I just thought it was shit. And you know, love Stephen King's work, but you know, this one, it was just too out there for me. And will I pick it up again and try it? It's doubtful, because I just remember pretty much literally throwing it down in disgust because I hated it. So and that's you know, a big thing for me, to actually hate a Stephen King book. But hate's probably a very harsh word, but I would say disliked it a lot. And you know, it's still on my shelves because I like to have everything out, but yeah, never again, unfortunately. Now, people will disagree with me over that, but you do get that. Okay, question number 8. Have you read Stephen King's books in publication order? Yeah, to an extent. I mean, from say 2000 onwards, I've read them in order. But before that, I've chopped and changed a little bit, and you know, I haven't read. There's a couple of gaps where I haven't actually read a couple of the books either, so they won't be read in publication order either. But for the most part, yeah, I have, and especially moving forward in the future, whatever King brings out, I'll be reading them in order moving forward. Okay, question number 9. What Stephen King books would you like to read but haven't yet? Now, luckily, there aren't many that I haven't read, and I've been pretty slack with not reading every single one, but I will be remedying that in the next couple of years. So we've only got a few titles here. The first one is The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. I haven't actually read that. Now, you'd think I would have, given that it's a low commitment with being only about 233 pages, so I should get my arse in gear and just read it and get it done. The next one that I'm embarrassed to say that I haven't read before is Hearts in Atlantis, which is the anthology of stories there, which I believe that this book holds a lot of Dark Tower lore and references to the multiverse, and I'm sure once I read this and then read the Dark Tower again, that I'll appreciate it a lot more. But there is a lot of references in here for the Dark Tower universe, but I've been very slack and have never picked it up and read it, so that is definitely on the to-do list. Now, one I'm very embarrassed that I have not read. Absolutely love the movie, but I have never read The Green Mile. Okay, I've got this beautiful green edition here. My wife has the serialized novellas that came out in the 90s when King was really taking off. But it's embarrassing that I haven't actually read this yet. So one day I will get to it. Okay, and two more I haven't read is The Talisman, his collaboration with Peter Straub, and The Black House as well, which I've heard good things about them. I think among the fan base they're very divisive as well, but I only bought these two editions last year, in fact, and really should get around to reading them. But in terms of books I haven't read by King, there aren't many at all, which is good. So you'd think I would pull the finger out and just get them read, wouldn't you? But hopefully that will happen soon. All right, question number 10. Name a book he has written that other people liked but you didn't. Now, aside from A Buick 8, which is an unpopular opinion of mine, not liking it, the only other one I found a little bit out there and a little bit weird was Desperation, which was just strange. I didn't DNF it. I actually finished reading this back when it came out in conjunction with The Regulators, and just thought it was pretty weird, and I didn't overly like it. I mean, it's never going to make my top 10, and it hasn't made my top 10, and people do like it, but unfortunately I didn't. But I didn't hate it like I did Buick 8, but yeah, that is one I didn't like that everyone else tends to like. Okay, now question number 11. Name a book of his that you think is underrated. There is a very easy answer to this question, and that is Needful Things. Okay, this is in my top 10 King books of all time, and it doesn't make many people's list, and I don't know why, because the story is fantastic. It's a Castle Rock story, so it really explores the locals of Castle Rock and the devil that comes to town to wreak havoc by collecting up his bag of souls, and the wreckage he leaves behind when the book finishes is just unbelievable. I just can't believe more people don't have this featured in their top 10, because it's just a fantastic book. I reread it last year and absolutely loved it for about the third or fourth time, I think. And it's one of the books I do have a couple of versions of as well, but a fantastic book that does not get enough praise in my opinion. So there you go, nice short answer to that one. Question number 12. Creepy characters. Which Stephen King character would you like to have dinner with? Now, with this one, I thought about it, and I thought I'd use a movie character from Misery, Annie Wilkes. I'd sit down and have dinner with her because I've always wanted to know what meatloaf tastes like with Spam mixed in with the ground beef. I'm interested to see what that shit would taste like. It'd have to be a culinary delight, wouldn't it? But and then after dinner, you'd be rewarded with getting your foot chopped off and the stump cauterized shut with a blowtorch. So there you go. But I thought I'll use a movie one instead there. Question number 13. Has Stephen King inspired you to start reading and writing? Absolutely. Did inspire me to start reading in a massive way in high school, and I did do a little bit of writing over the years, and his influence was very evident in those writings, which I haven't written anything serious for a long time, and maybe I should get back into it, because I have had a couple of things published, short stories and things like that, which is a real buzz, and should get back into it and see how I go. Question number 14. If you were able to meet Stephen King, what would you say? To begin with, I wouldn't say anything because my tongue would be tied, because I would be starstruck. But seriously, I'd probably thank him for all the endless hours of entertainment that he provided with writing all his books. I'd be very grateful, and just shake his hand, buy him a coffee, and just have a chat. It'd be awesome. It'd be a real bucket list moment for me. Okay. Question number 15. Have you ever been to Bangor, Maine? The short answer there is no, never. And I probably never will. I mean, my wife and I plan on travelling a little bit in our retirement years, and we want to go to, say, Canada and the UK maybe, but I don't think it'd go down too well if I tried to convince her to do a layover in Maine. I don't think that would go down very well, but you never know. Alright, question number 16. Which do you prefer more, his books or movies? Well, his books, no question. Absolutely no debate there at all. The books always shit on the movies. Okay. Question number 17. Name your favourite Stephen King movie. So I have several. I've got Misery, Christine, The Shining, both the Jack Nicholson film and the 1997 TV adaptation as well, which is fantastic. I really like Thinner, and Needful Things, of course, and that's probably an unpopular opinion because, you know, it is corny, but I absolutely love Max von Sydow as Leland Gaunt. I thought he nailed the role, and I thought Amanda Plummer as Nettie Cobb was very well done as well in that one, but there are a few that that are some of my favourites. Question number 18, or it's not really a question, but I'm meant to tag people now. So I've got a few booktube channels in mind to tag, and the first one I'd like to tag to do this one is Talking Story. Now John over there at his channel, he is a relatively new booktuber. I discovered him just the other day and subscribed to him straight away because he is very, very funny. He's very, very accessible. He speaks in a conversational way, and he's just very amusing, and he's up for a bit of fun. But he also did his Stephen King top 10 recently as well, which was very interesting because you see some Stephen King top 10 videos and you see the same old books in their rankings, and he had a really good top 10 there, and it was a little bit different as well, which I have a lot of respect for. So if John's watching, thank you, John, for being on BookTube, and yeah, I'll be keen to watch more of your videos. And next I want to tag Red Fury Books, and I'd also like to tag Nerdy Kathy, who is an Australian booktuber who is a barrel of fun, and she has a laugh that just makes you smile as well, and she's so enthusiastic about her books, and she's very, very entertaining, and she does like Stephen King as well. And I'm also going to tag Zach's Books in this one as well, because he has a lot of Stephen King content on his channel, and he also has a podcast, I believe, as well, but he does very, very good videos, and he does a lot of book shopping videos and things like that, which are fantastic. So all these channels I've just mentioned, do check them out, because the content there is superb. So there you go, guys. That is it for my Stephen King tag today. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. The channels that I've just mentioned will be in the description below as well, so you can access them. Get on there, give them a like, give them a subscribe, and watch and like their content. Okay, but until the next video, guys, I'll see you later.